We're up. Wah! Welcome everybody to Houston with a Problem. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Monkey butt. You have anything to add right now? Not bad. Nope. Just looking adorable as ever. So mortgage rates are closing in on 8%. Demand for mortgages are the lowest they have been in 25 years. 7.9% of homes listed have reduced their price, which is the most ever. So never before have that many homes on the market reduced their sale price at any one time since they've been measuring such statistics. My guess is that the housing market is about to crash really, 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 really hard. People probably won't, at first, are just not going to sell. I'm like, I have a house. I'm just going to keep it there because what I sell it for is going to be for way less than I paid for it. And I'm just going to hope to wait through this downturn, right? And then the next step will be the folks who are like, wait a minute, why am I paying a mortgage on a $700,000 house when the house is only worth $450,000? I'm not going to pay this mortgage anymore. And then they'll see folks moving into short sale zones. On top of that, we'll get the folks we got the people who flip houses, right? They take out these adjustable rate mortgages, the ARM mortgages, and they get a house, they redo the insides, they put it on the market, sell it, pay off the mortgage, take the profit, whatever. And those folks are all now bag holders. The same thing happened in 2008. You had hundreds of thousands of flippers and spec developers and those guys who all got stuck holding the bag on unfinished developments they can't sell or houses that they were going to renovate and flip. And now those houses are all going to end up, in foreclosure. So we're probably 6 months away from mass foreclosures, and maybe 6 months after that before banks, institutions go, all right, we got to get some of this stuff off our books. We need cash. So let's start putting these houses on the market. But everyone right now is trying to keep a glut of homes from hitting the market because they know they're not going to sell. So I think the housing market's going to get a little nutty for everybody. And those of you who bought before 2020, you probably did all right. Those of you who bought after, at least you got a great mortgage rate. And those who bought this summer, may the Lord have mercy on your soul. Okay. Intro off. 11 shows. I'm getting good at this. Okay. Protege. You don't need to delete all the messages. You can leave them up there. I just won't read them. I won't read them out loud. That's fine. You don't have to delete their messages. You can leave them up there. So it's fine if people see what is being said. It's okay. They can talk if they want to talk about MMTLP in the chat. They're welcome to. I just won't talk about it. Does that work? Work for everyone? Talk about all you want in there. That's okay. You don't need to delete their comments in there. Do I have anything else to add, Monkey? Oh yeah, speculation that Carl Icahn has been working with Ryan Cohen for a while now. It's speculation, but buy a company no one wants. That's the whole MO. Meow meow. I have this stock. It's got an A. It's got a T. I think there are a couple M's. It's heavily shorted. It's heavily shorted trash. You think will squeeze in? Your TAM stock is probably just fine, or maybe it's I think you're gonna be just fine with whatever stock that may be. Tons of fun first. So T plus 90 dividend, officially a dud. Any other catalysts at all look forward to next year, or is it just gambling now? The T90 for GameStop is kind of how I picture workout ever since we discovered that the DTCC made the dividend a forward split and not a dividend. It sort of removed the obligation of the shorts to provide shares they didn't have. So that's the big issue. How GameStop responds to that is up to them. I personally would go balls out and remove my shares from the DTCC and put them into, say, a brand new marketplace designed for NFTs that's revolutionary. We've been working on for years. That's what I would do with it. Ryan. Bacan, Houston, any thoughts? TA input on Rico Trade's Wyckoff theory. His TA is projecting cyclic run-up on Ape to 70-80. Thank you in advance. I don't do TA. So I would know the first thing about what his Wyckoff looks like for that. I think we talk about macro trends. That's kind of what I do here. Is I do the macro aspect of these plays. Is that the shorts need to provide ape shares for the shares they shorted. It's that simple. And at some point, and when we look in the past, it's that 90-day threshold. At some point, if they're delinquent for 90 days, the brokers go, all right, we're going to have to like sell your crap and go out and to the market and buy these things and close these positions. And it's happened with Overstock. It's happened with Tesla. So we're getting close to that point where the obligations of Monkey Butt, you and that collar are so loud. Hey, Monkey. Yeah. Just a loud collar. I'm going to tape that thing shut. Where the lenders are like, you owe us, and you aren't doing anything to give us what we're owed. And so that's where we're going to get the price run from. I don't know what numerology of graphs going up and down, head and shoulders and cup and handles and pennants and everything else that people will point at for these things. But there's a debt that is owed, and the brokers are going to make sure that debt is paid at some point. And that's where you're going to get your price run. And how high it will go, 70, 80, that seems reasonable. 100, 150 also seems reasonable. 200, 300, reasonable. 1,000, very reasonable. It will go as high as people let it go because they won't sell. And that's the whole buy and hold thing, is that you hold it until it's absolutely just bonkers, and then maybe let a couple go and see where it goes from there. What are you looking at? You're just staring at me like a weirdo. Yes, you are. Okay. Casey Chapman, Houston, we're into Outkast back in the day. I know you're a Biggie fan. I love Outkast. I love Big Boy. Like, Andre 3000 is a great dude, but holy shit, Big Boy's solo albums are just amazing. Jesus walk sandals. I love Big Boy. And the fact that Outkast brought us Killer Mike is probably one of the greatest gifts that they could have ever given us, because Run the Jewels is the best rap duo in the entire world. My favorite thing about Andre 3000 and Big Boy is that they got into a Twitter spat with each other over, they got in a fight over claiming the other one was the better was the better rapper. No. Andre's a better rapper than I am. Andre's like, fuck you, Big Boy. You're a better rapper than me. And they just got so mad at each other. And that's what I love about those guys. They make some damn fine music. They seem like stand-up dudes. And apparently Big Boy has recently bought and trained an owl. He's now a falconer of an owl. Which, man, those nerds are so cool. I love those guys. Okay. Guitar Stuff, Houston, my son is really into dinosaurs. Is John Day fossil bed worth it or overrated? John Day is awesome, but it's not for dinosaurs. It's for great early North American mammals. So you'll find like miniature horses, like toed horses before they developed hooves. Rhinoceroses, weird plains animals, saber-toothed tigers, mammoths. I say rhinos already. Rhinos. All sorts of crazy, long extinct megafauna that was here essentially before humans came over on the land bridge from Asia and managed to hunt a lot of these things to extinction. That's where you'll find the John Day fossil beds, and it's cool. The stuff they find there are really cool. There's the Painted Hills themselves, which is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, near Mitchell in Oregon. Let's go to the map. Why not? Okay, Google Earth. Boink. Google Earth. Come on, Google Earth. Show up. There we go. Oh, we're still in Bali. Let's get out of Bali. Let's go to Painted Hills, Oregon. Go. 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 So we're flying. We're flying in Shaboink. Okay. So out here in Eastern Oregon, little town Mitchell right there. Painted Hills are a section of exposed volcanic ash. So there's volcanoes that were just pumping ash like crazy years and years and years and years and years ago. I've never been to this lake. It's like a reservoir. It's up above. Never been to that one. Anyway, the hills here, the ashes have different colors. They're showing up a little bit on the satellite photo, but it's blues, pinks, purples, reds. They're absolutely gorgeous. So hiking trails you can go along. You're encouraged not to actually touch the ash itself, even though you can see chunks of carbon and exposed fossils and things. You do not touch it. You'll go to prison, and that'll be it. But where excavations happen is out over the Richmond. Where are you? Then where's the museum? John Day Museum. Here? Yeah, up here. Up this canyon. So, yeah, John Day Fossil Beds National Monument. So, in here, these exposed areas are where they've been doing all the excavations, and there's a really cool museum which is somewhere along here. Bull Canyon. There's a little ranch airport. Where are you, museum? John Day. I have to find it because I know it's along that road. John Day Fossil Beds National Monument Museum. Kimberly Spray. No, not there. The museum is totally along this road, and I just can't remember where. Well, it should show up. Picture. Ranch. Oh, there it is. The Thomas Condon Paleontology Center. That's the one. It's a free, really cool museum. It's free. So if you're on, is it, I think 395 or something, that's this road. Stop here. Go to the museum. There's some really cool exhibits. Really cool volunteers who work here and will show us all sorts of neat things. And there's like active laboratory where they're excavating fossils and stuff from the hills around here. And it's beautiful. You get to this side, you can kind of see a little bit of the color, but like the color of these hills are different than the other painted hills. They're like aquamarine and absolutely beautiful. And there's some cool hiking trails. You can see some of them labeled here. There's some cool hiking trails that go along, and they're sort of like, they look like aquamarine versions of the Badlands in South Dakota. They're rad. And so you won't get dinosaurs here, but you will get saber-toothed tigers, which are my favorite extinct animal because they're just such badass looking skulls. Yeah, so that's what I recommend. Dinosaurs in Oregon. I don't know of any active sites where dinosaurs have been found in Oregon. You generally have to go like Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah to find New Mexico to find dinosaur bones. The only dinosaur bone ever found in Washington, I think, came down with a glacier and got embedded into sediment on Susha Island, which is here. And they found the femur of a dinosaur that probably was from northern Canada and brought down with the glaciers and managed to not get ground up and then embedded into one of the muddy rocks down here and preserved that way. And so Washington became the 37th state to have a dinosaur bone as a result of one basically migrating from Canada, which is pretty cool. It's a cool way to find the only dinosaur bone in Washington. Okay. Cloud9 Ape had a great hold today, ended on some nice volume. I reckon the shorts will try and mark down during pre-markets to try and dissuade bullishness. I mean, if at this point, you might be able to 100x your Ape shares. So long as Adam Aaron doesn't dilute right now. If he holds off on diluting, you might be able to 100x those things. That's what I'm hoping for. That'd be really nice. Nice little payday. I'll pay for the vacation in January. Just in my head, Mr. Wade hanging out with my friend from overseas. He says, hi, of Aprika. Hi, of Aprika. Guitar stuff. Currently in line to get my COVID booster and flu shot, doing my part and getting my 5G signal booster at the same time. Win-win. I got mine 3 weeks ago? 2.5 weeks ago I got mine. And about 24 hours later, I was real sleepy. I know Julio, he might be in here somewhere. He got his this week, and it knocked him out for like a day, and he was a weirdo. So everyone will react different to him. But it's better than having like your blood vessels all disintegrate and, you know, your organs age by 5 years every time you get infected. Mike S. Houston, wondering your thoughts on reverse repo and the role it potentially plays in propping up the market. Interested in your take on where we are historically and what this could mean. Right now, I think the reverse repo is being done for two reasons. One, to make sure banks have assets. And two, to keep the banks from dumping cash into the market. I think those are the two big reasons we've got reverse repo going now. And so if you guys need a refresher, reverse repo is when the banks send cash to the Fed and the Fed gives them securities overnight, mortgage bonds or whatever. And then they trade them back in the morning and they do it again at night. And it's over $2 trillion now, which we thought it was bonkers when it was at 500 billion. And then we thought it was bonkers when it was at $1 trillion. And now it's over $2 trillion. We're like completely unfazed by how bonkers it is that they're basically forcing the banks to keep $2 trillion in cash almost on hand at all times. Because what the banks would do with that cash normally is they would create loans or they would invest into other securities. And that cash would disappear. And it would be tied up in home mortgages, cars, consumer credit, business loans, things like that. And it would mean the banks would be completely over leveraged for what's coming ahead. But as long as the banks have the $2 trillion on hand at the moment, when the shit hits the fan, it does give the Fed the ability to go, okay, here's your money. Do whatever it is you need to do. We can spur the economy. But right now they're trying not to spur the economy. They want interest rates really high. They want the housing market to crash. They want to bring inflation down to a 2% level. And we've got a ways to go. We're going to have to get interest rates up to probably 10, 12%. We have to get interest rates above where inflation is right now in order to slow it down. And we've got a ways to go because, you know, interest rates are at 7, what was it that William sent me? 7.87 or something was today's home mortgage rate. So we're close. We're close to that 8 point whatever that current inflation is at. But we need to get it above there, and it's going to suck, and it's going to hurt. And that's where we are. Beast Attack. Houston, how do you think the Canadian dollar will do compared to the American, especially with rising energy prices? Would it be a good hedge or precious metals a safer bet? I think the Canadian dollar is going to fall against the U.S. dollar. Everyone except for the Israeli shekel is falling against the U.S. dollar. I think that's the only currency. Oh, no, the Mexican peso rose against the U.S. dollar. So it's like Israeli shekel, peso, and that's about it. What do you want, monkey? You want? That's what. Keep staring at me like a weirdo. Come on. That's what you want. Just say it. So the last time we had a downturn, the Canadian dollar actually became stronger than the US dollar temporarily and then dropped back down. But right now, I think it's getting weaker if we were to open that. I gotta toss you over there to this monitor. And we go Canadian CND. Oops, CND to USD. Yeah, so 73 cents US to the Canadian dollar. It looks like it's been losing over the past year. Where were we? We're at 80 cents in April, and it's lost about 10% in the last 6 months. It was at 83 in 2001. When was it that it was actually above? Yeah, 2000. When was that? November 2007. It was $1.03. It was stronger than the U.S. dollar. It crashed hard and then rose back up again to over $1 in 2011. I liked it in 2002. The 2002, January 2002, I went to Whistler, and Whistler treated everything at 50% parity. A 50% exchange. And so, like, you go on the mountain, go skiing at Whistler, go get lunch at one of the lodges, and you get a burger, fries, drink, maybe a dessert or whatever, hot chocolate, I don't know. And you give them a $20 bill, and they would give you your food and like $20 back. It was so weird. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Where were we? I've totally lost my Canadian dollar thing. There it was. Lost Waves. Houston, have you ever played Mario Maker 2? Nope. I have a Wii, and I don't have any consoles newer than that. And I haven't really played the Wii in a long time. But I don't have a Switch or the newer Wii, whatever that was. I don't have any of those things. Kevin Originin, I know you can't talk about MMTLP, but hypothetically, why would any ticker have zeros for both bid and ask, and why would my cost basis look incorrect based on the price itself? Not a clue, man. Not a single clue. MMTLP is a weird stock, and I'm sure there's all sorts of shenanigans that are going on with it, but I couldn't tell you the first reason why the level 2s aren't showing up. Stock trades, it should see that stuff. People are bidding and asking. You should be able to see it, and why it's not showing up, I don't know. Lost Waves, since you can't talk about MMAC, can your brother come on the show and talk about it? He's going to try and end up here at some point. When he finishes the project of opening their factory, I think he might have some time he can come on and visit, maybe. Yeah, then. Drew, it's crazy our lives might be completely different forever in 4 to 5 weeks after elections. Moas can't come sooner. Yeah. I'm almost 2 years into this sucker. Just waiting. Twiddling our thumbs and waiting. We're waiting for all these big institutions and funds to lose their power when the economy goes. And that's what we're sitting on.
Dan Margelot. Houston, will we see T90 price action on BBBY? Looking at January calls. T90 for what? They haven't really done anything. They haven't released dividends or anything. So I don't know if we'll see any of that in BBBY. I mean, Bed Bath & Beyond is still heavily shorted, and I think it got shorted even more when they had their run in August. That Killer Hopes and Dreams when Ryan Cohen pulled out. I'm curious to see if they bought themselves enough time to really ramp up again. But I think a lot of the retail love for Bed Bath & Beyond died when they took on the recommendations of Boston Consulting Group and decided to essentially eat their own company from the inside. So they're shutting down 20% of their stores, which means revenue is going to drop by 20%, which means they're going to have less revenue each year that they report, which means they're going to have to lay off more people. And it's just an ongoing cycle of eating themselves. Then they'll take on more debt and issue more shares, and it's just going to be in a debt spiral. That's the way I see Bed Bath & Beyond going. If they had stood and fought with Ryan Cohen, they would come out of it a bigger, better company in the end. But they didn't take that lifeline that was offered to them, and they're going the way of, they're going the way of Sears at this point. Last waves. Any chance the other side of the elections wants turmoil in the markets before midterms, and we see all kinds of weirdness before midterm date? It's very possible. I mean, we got 2.5 weeks. A lot of stuff can happen in 2.5 weeks in this day and age. The news cycle is so quick. I know the Fed is definitely trying to hold things off. They have a plunge protection team keeping the SPY afloat, and they might have enough gas to do it for another 2.5, 3 weeks. But at some point, they're going to have to just remove themselves from the equation and let the inevitable happen. And, if you're invested in those DRVs, the inverse mortgage ETF, or in SQQQ or UVXY. I mean, look at UVXY for a second. Let's look at this. You can see just how much manipulation has been going on. All right. Oops, not you. I want to turn you off. I want to turn you on. Okay. So here's UVXY. It's a little up and down, 10, 20 cents throughout the day. But if we look at the 5-year, right, we see the ETFs, they have half-lives, they kind of degrade over time, but then they'll spike during moments when the SPY gets hit really hard. So this is inverse short-term futures. So we had something, years ago, the government shuts down. It goes from $433 to $1,167. And then we get down to 2019. We've got that weird moment where the reverse repo saved all the banks from sudden collapse. And the thing goes from 402 to 866. And then we get to March 2020. We're degrading. We drop all the way down to like $100, $80, somewhere around there. The globe shuts down. The economy shuts down. It spikes from $100 to $911. So if you had calls on UVXY at $100, right? You just made $90,000 on one call in like a month's time. So between March 20th and February 20th or so, you made $90,000 on one call. Not too shabby, right? Then it drops. Okay, we're at a point where since November, the SPY has lost, 38%, 40% of its entire value? And UVXY has not had a real spike that entire time. It's been allowed to wither. Even in June, the SPY went from like 430 down to 360 in like a month span. UVXY didn't do dip doodle. It's absolutely bonkers. And you know, even dropped down to single digits during this time. While it's obvious the rest of the market was just shitting the bed, and this inverse ETF isn't showing any reaction whatsoever, when even with little hiccups, government shutdowns, reverse repo spiking, the globe shutting down for temporarily due to COVID, we see big reaction out of the short-term ETF, but nothing, absolutely nothing, while we've been in the longest bull market we've had in years. Bear market we've had in years. Let's see if SQQQ is the same. 5-year SQQQ, exactly the same, right? We had spike in 2019, spike in 2020, and then no reaction whatsoever to this incredibly long bear market that's been going on for 11 months now. Just nothing. It's weird. It's really weird how this has been essentially suppressed. So you don't have the inverse fund reacting at all to the fact that the fund that's the inverse of has been dying. I mean, SPY. 5-year. You can see the big dips in the SPY. Big dip, boom. We had a reaction from both those inverse funds. Big dip, boom. Reaction from those inverse funds. We've had a steady dip ever since. We had a big dip here, no reaction. We had a dip here, no reaction. It's going to dip way down, no reaction whatsoever. It's really, 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 really weird. So, Hail Mary. Calls on UVXY are super duper cheap. So if MMAT, or sorry, I can't talk about it. If a certain stock I can't talk about runs really hard and I get enough cash, maybe some calls on UVXY for when they finally just let her rip. I mean, $50,000 or $100,000 per call in profit. Not too shabby. That sucker hits $1,000, $500 from like the $12 it is now. I think the calls only go up to like $25. So anything after that is just printing. The January's might go to 85, but I would look for something maybe in like March, April, May, somewhere in there. Yeah. Okay. Drew, I have a $1.38 cost basis from MMTLP and Fidelity account. Never bought none in that account. Shouldn't it be $0 since I paid nothing? I think it's whatever the cost basis was for when you bought Torch. That's probably what it is. Ah, shit. I'm talking about it. Forget what I said. Never talked about it. Damn it. Okay. Cloud9, Powell's currently using the Phillips curve to gauge his progress in combating inflation. It's a very dull metric. He's stuck raising rates to fight inflation, but raising the value of the dollar simultaneously. Yeah, and the fact that the dollar is the world's reserve currency, and most of the debt that's out there is in dollars, and you got to pay it in dollars, which means everyone has to convert their own currency into dollars to pay off their debt. And, you know, it's weird. It's a very weird situation. Last wave, have you ever upper deck toilet? Try tonight's party. It'll go over well. No, I've never upper decked a toilet. I was at a party where someone did upper deck a toilet. But I swear it wasn't me. Ash asks, Susan, did you ever get those GME calls for end of October? November you spoke about? I got those weeks ago. I actually sold my ones for this Friday, and I'm planning on, because I don't think things can happen this Friday, and I'm gonna use what's left of those to get some that are a little bit further out even. So That's what's coming down the pipe. Doing his Eye of the Tiger quotes for Eye of Africa. Just from Dex, do you think the Icahn family is going to buy up a large portion of GME? RC didn't post that picture for no reason. I mean, the speculation's there. I mean, GameStop had a down day today, finished below $25 today. It's gonna pop again. It just will. It's a volatile stock, and that's what it do. How much it will pop, I have no idea. But the fact that Ryan Cohen is able to go and bend the ear of Icahn, it has some sort of meaning, man. He makes references to him. He made tweets specifically on his birthday about pirates. There's, he's bending that ear some. Hey Houston, last time I was in Kenya, I got some bad news. A lot of big sale. It was the Sigh of Africa. Serenity now, monkey. Serenity now. Oh, she's dreaming. Oh, her camera froze. Can't see her dreaming. She's there. She's wiggling. She's dreaming. Okay. SJ's got a spot for us. We're at 57 West. Is that East Coast? Where are we going, SJ? Where are you taking me? Oh, south. I was looking the wrong. Okay. We are in a little town in Argentina. We are in it's a picture of the Falklands. This be what is this, a war memorial? Plaza Moreno? Must be a war memorial or something. Yeah. The Argentinians, I mean, they won't like me saying this, but we really shouldn't have tried to take the Falkland Islands from the British military. The British really need something to rally around, and Margaret Thatcher needed to, swing her big old dick around, and that was definitely an oops on Argentina's part. But that's a cool cathedral. She's a Pata. That's a really cool cathedral. Very gothic. The way they got these images stitched together looks really weird. It looks like it's twisted or something. What city are we in? Are we in Moreno? La Plata. We ended up here, one of my geoguessrs. It took me forever to figure out where I was. Because all the roads had like nonsensical names of like letters and things. And yeah. Some big towns along here though. Squamsk! Have you seen that electric powered slingshot NASA made? Do you think a big enough Tesla coil could power it? Are you talking about the flywheel that throws things into space? Those things are nuts. And it takes just a ton of momentum and it flings these objects into orbit. The big problem with those is that it's like hundreds or thousands of G-forces on the object as it's spooling up. So you could never put a human in there. They would just atomize. And the things that flung into space so far are like solid metal objects. I'm very curious to see if they can design electronics that can withstand those G-forces to fling objects into space. Because if you're like, I want to get a satellite in orbit and you got to put like 1,000 G's of pressure on it and the little intricate, tiny little wires and gold filaments and things, those things all just smush as a result of the incredible forces put onto them. Then you're just throwing inanimate objects into space that can never do their job. Yeah. As far as a Tesla coil powering it, I don't know the first thing of how they power those suckers. My guess is just giant motors of some kind, spinning at incredible RPMs. Yogi 2012 has seen Project Arrow. It's apparently a 100% Canadian concept EV car. Project Arrow. Project Arrow Canada. Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association of Canada. We got a car. Looks like a 3D rendering of a car. Just show me the car, man. Looks like a Kia. Okay. And still 3D rendered Kia. Just show the car. You can show the car now if you like. You can show me the car. I get it. It's Project Arrow. It's from the Automotive Parts Manufacturers of Canada. Just show Arrow. Just show the car. Okay, site can't be reached. Oh, maybe you can. There we go. Yeah, it looks like a Kia. Looks like the Ion Q. Or Hyundai or whatever. I mean, it's stylish. It's futuristic. Cool. I know nothing about Phase 2. This is what the inside would look like when you're using Phase 3. Alright, so they got their manufacturing. These are the companies that are involved. All those companies. Phase 4. Canada and America. Alright. There's your Project Arrow, I guess. Cool. I mean, we're going to see so many electric startups come on the market. I don't know who's going to survive. And some of them are directly tied to the companies like Polestar was started by Volvo. Is there anyone else that's... Foxconn just came out with their electric vehicle, and they basically said, hey, Tesla, we'll gladly assemble your cars for cheap. So Foxconn's looking at the manufacturing cars in sort of the same model they manufacture cell phones for Samsung and Apple. Like, hey, you just give us the designs, we'll put it together in our factory. We'll have 600,000 slave laborers in China do it for us. And, that might be appealing because then Elon can say, hey, I don't need to have any unionized workers. I just contracted these guys and they deal with all the labor. But it's one thing to have a phone that like dies on you and you go, It's another thing to have your car turn into a brick when it's going to have like this crazy warranty and it's supposed to protect you and your family's lives. You may want to be a little more hands-on the quality control in that department, which is why, being able to control your own factories is a good spot there. It might protect you from a lot of serious lawsuits in the future. I was going to look at DRV while we were doing this. I didn't look at DRV. DRV. What are you doing right now? Okay, we're getting a little punch from DRV. Oh, you guys can't see because I know. So again, DRV had its huge spike up to, where'd you go? $580, March 2020, and that really wasn't a housing crisis in any way, shape, or form. It was just like the whole world was going But now we're starting to see a housing crisis, and so it's gone from, where's the local low? $37 in August, and now we're up to 73. So, and we still have not gotten the really, really bad news of, you turn on your television, the 6 o'clock ABC World News, whoever comes on, they go, America in crisis. Housing prices are falling across the board. Mortgages are being unpaid. Foreclosures are up. No one can sell a home to save their lives. And when they start saying stuff like that, that's when something like the DRV is going to go into the stratosphere. So that's what this sucker's waiting for right now. He's waiting for the really, really, really bad news to be acknowledged by everybody, and then there's panic on Wall Street about it. And that panic on Wall Street is going to make these inverse guys just fly. Just fly. Okay. Yogi 2012, Metamaterials PR department. If you're here, can you drop Houston a super chat? Oh, you guys crack me up. Okay. I have Africa knock Hodgerson. I am not going to read your I have Africa knock joke. They're so bad. They're just so bad. Oof. Great ape Knowles. Why can't hedge funds and market makers and DTCC cover through dark pools? If they can't print synthetics, what prevents them from covering through synthetics? Covering through synthetics, all that does is create more liabilities. It's like paying a credit card with credit cards. In the end, you still owe the money. So if you are generating synthetics to cover positions with those synthetics, then you just paid for your credit card with another credit card. It's the desperation, and that's all it is. You're just putting it off to another day. And that works great until you can't print synthetics because your hedge fund is being liquidated because the stock market's crashing and you have way too many liabilities out there. So it's probably part of the whole survive another day motif. I'm very curious to see, because there's been lots and lots and lots of reports that Gary Gensler has some revolutionary new regulations for the market. And I'm wondering if one of those is going to be either a trial run at no dark pools or just eliminating them entirely. His interview with Jon Stewart wasn't very... It didn't seem like he would be on track to do that, but he's had tweets and comments in the past that are like, yeah, these dark pools are really weird and they don't seem like they should exist. And perhaps maybe we should do a moratorium or a trial balloon or something and see what happens when we turn them off. And I'm wondering if perhaps that's where he's headed with it. Oh, shoot. Somehow I flew past like 40 minutes worth of chat somehow. Where were we? We were up before bacon. Oh, there we are. Okay. All right. Let's cover synthetics. Try to drop GameStop. Okay. People talking about how GameStop is now below what they paid for it. It happened again in, what was it? February, March? They dropped it down to below $70 at one point, which is the lowest that we'd seen since February of 2021. And then it rocketed to $200 like that. So right now it's the equivalent of about $97, $98 pre-split. And, maybe we'll see it rocket to $50. It was at $45 6 weeks ago. So, it can go $20 in no time. Okay. Daphne Houston does not want comments deleted unless they are insulting or racist or sexist comments. Yeah. Yeah, please. Yeah, just don't worry about deleting comments unless it is from my stalker or like horribly racist, sexist, whatever. Like, we don't need that in the chat. But people could talk and have their own conversations in there. No problem. By all means, go for it. It just gives me something to scroll past and I can catch up to the comments that are questions that I can answer for people. Okay. Aaron Soundteam Houston, today was T plus 90 on GME. Monday pop, you think? Well, Monday is the OPEX. I thought the OPEX was this week, and apparently it's Monday. So we may get a pop just from that alone. I'm going to hopefully pick up some calls tomorrow, and fingers crossed that it can pop in time for me to still get in on the stock I can't name with some extra cash. That's my goal. No says, well, for the YouTubers, MMTLP is like a dividend they made into a tradable asset, blah, blah, blah. Sure as hell higher than the current price. Yeah. All right. Westwind Houston, what is a short sale? Don't hear that term in Canada. Short sale is when the value of your home is for less than what the existing mortgage is, and the bank will give you permission to sell the house, give them all the cash, and they just go, all right, you're clear. You're clear of that mortgage obligation. Because otherwise, you'd sell the house. Let's say you owe $500,000 in the house, and it can only sell for $350,000, right? So if you were to sell the house, you would still owe $150,000 to the bank, but you have to have no collateral for it. So you wouldn't be allowed to sell the house for that price. So you go to the bank and you say, hey, bank, the market is fucked. I don't want to pay my mortgage anymore because the house is worth less than what I owe you. So you can give me the option of doing a short sale on this house now, and you just collect all the cash and I walk away and it doesn't affect my credit report or anything. Or I just stop paying you. You don't get any money out of me. And then 6 months down the road when the house is worth even less and it's been abandoned, then you can sell it. The bank goes, fine, fuck. We'll just sell it now for short sale. It worked out great in 0809. My sister and her husband, they both owned houses independently before they got married. The house prices collapsed and they were able to short sell both their houses. Use savings they had to buy a new house together, and now that house is worth a fortune. They bought a house north of Seattle with great views of the water and everything for like $400,000 in 2010, I believe, and now the appraisal is well over $1 million. So they made a killing off of that, and they were able to just walk away from the two houses they had that were underwater. And then use that as an advantage to then buy a house that was undervalued because the market had collapsed. And now they're living the great life off that place. So that's the short sale. Jerry Diamond Jimmy is the only stock de-arresting the float. Shows how truly strong the community, not just talk promotion, grifting of community, then leaving after 15% dilution after 1.5 years. Jerry really has it out for AMC, doesn't he? GameStop world number one. If GameStop believes DTCC, hedge funds have to close everything 100% Moas Infinity shares prices. Exactly. It is a total checkmate situation. Game over. Done. We are carrying the sucker to Uranus. All companies should leave DTC. No says, yeah. Every single stockholder should DRS, and every hedge fund, every research so far, a lot should be in jail. Yeah. The manipulation is absolutely crazy. I really, really, really would love the SEC to have prosecutorial powers. Not just slaps on the wrist fines, but like, you broke the law, you're going to prison. And to hold these folks accountable, there's all sorts of white-collar crime that these companies and corporations and funds and banks and everyone else get away with, that if you or I did it, we'd go to prison. Like, it's against the law to fire an employee for trying to unionize. So if you're working at a Starbucks and you're talking with your coworkers like, hey guys, maybe we should join a union. And the Starbucks comes along and fires you, that's illegal. It is against the law. but it might take 6 or 8 months in court before the court says, Starbucks, you have to hire them back, right? And usually there's no fine, there's no back pay, right? In those 6 to 8 months, you've been fighting with a lawyer, maybe you got someone from the ACLU or someone to help you out pro bono. You don't have income, and you finally get taken back to the company that wanted to fire you for whatever. Like, what needs to happen is, if you're a company who fires someone for talking about joining a union, then not only should that person get their job back, but you should go to prison. It shouldn't just be like you have to let them back. No, send their ass to prison. They broke the law. Make the law a felony. Send their ass to prison. Make the punishments for the corporate malfeasance not just have a small financial liability to it, but a hefty criminal one. If the CEO's actions is to manipulate stock, wrongfully terminate employees because of union actions, to wage theft of the employees, send their ass to prison. And they won't do it anymore. Because it's not a crime of passion. It's not something like in the moment you're like, oh, I'm so outraged, murder. It is a well thought out, executed conspiracy. And if you make the punishment for those things more tangible and real, then maybe those CEOs would finally earn the fact that they make 3,000 times their employees' wages, right? If there's hefty criminal liability for your actions, then perhaps you might earn that wage. But right now, you can take that money, commit all the crimes you want, pay maybe a fraction of a percent in a fine, and what's to stop you from doing it again? That's just the cost of doing business. So, elbow drop off the top row with that like button. Oh yeah. Subscribe, like, ring the bell, chit chat. It's right there for you. That's so I don't have to remember. It's right there. And then if I ever do a Zoom call, it's flipped and then I can't read any of it. Wheat Wild, good evening from Pittsburgh, good buddy. Had a great day today. Bought new spanky sunglasses. Let the SQQQ run. Wheat Wild's enjoying his American vacation right now. Driving the big truck around, being the best Merkin he can. Chad Clifford, what's up, using my birthday? No question, Ed, just saying hi. Well, hello, Chad Clifford. Yeah, today's live show isn't at 1 a.m. Eastern time. That's because I'm going to go to a party this evening, so I wasn't able to do a show at 1 a.m. Hey, we're an hour into the show, and I'm only 50 minutes behind, so it's better than a Monday. Hoshi Gaming, Winmo-S. It feels like we are closer than ever, but wait feels forever. Cohen is breaking the record for the most blue balls simultaneously. That's true. Just Icahn. Winmo-S, not a clue. Soon? It's always soon. That's what we're waiting on. But yeah, something's breaking soon. We are on like the precipice of the bottom falling out. Just it's coming. We know it. We can see it. It's coming up over the horizon. The mast is coming up over the horizon. We're going to see a big old pirate ship soon, and that's where we are. Edward Alex, I have a question. Buying a house at the rate they're giving me 6% for 30-year loan if the market crashes tomorrow. Let's say with my interest rate go up or down. If it's fixed rate, you're stuck. Rates overall are going up. So the 6% is probably the best you're going to get for at least a year, if not longer. That being said, when we fight through the stagflation of, we've got the market's collapsing, inflation is going up, and rates are going up. So normally you fix it so that rates go up when the market is up, and then you take them down when the market goes down. So we completely inverted our ability to fight a down economy by spurring capital investment, because right now we're trying to stop capital investment because inflation is too high. So if the market were to crash in like a month, then the Fed would normally cut rates like to zero, get everybody spending money like crazy again, and to climb back out of it. But inflation is so high that when the market crashes, they go, tough shit. We don't have the tools necessary to fix this, because if we pump money back into the economy to spur it again, we'll have hyperinflation, and we can't have that. So we're basically going to be sort of like a year on our own, at least, while the Fed goes, nope, we're not raising rates. The problem is that the Fed is fighting itself, is still picking up massive amounts of securities with the plunge protection team, keeping the market afloat. And what they need to do is just let it die. But they can't do that until after midterms, because they don't want the market to affect people's votes in that way. And that's exactly where we are. We're just sitting and waiting. We're waiting for the election to happen, and then the rest of the world's going to pay the price when the U.S. finally lets go. On a good news, unrelated good news, is that there's literally boatloads of liquid natural gas waiting to be unloaded into Europe, and gas prices have fallen. So there you go. So that's market demand right there. That's happening. Hutch Houston, what do you make of the miracle of the son of Fatima in Portugal? I don't know what the miracle of the son of Fatima in Portugal is. Is it like weeping Jesus or something? Miracle of the Sun. There's a miracle of Fatima is a series of events reported to have occurred miraculously 13th of October 1917, attended by a large crowd who gathered in Fatima, Portugal, in response to prophecy made by three shepherd children, Lucia Santos, Francisco, and Jacinta Marto. Prophecy was that the Virgin Mary, referred to as Our Lady of Fatima, would appear and perform miracles on that date. Newspapers published testimony from witnesses who said they had seen extraordinary solar activity, such as the sun appearing to dance or zigzag in the sky, careen towards the earth, or emit multicolored light and radiant colors. According to these reports, the event lasted approximately 10 minutes. Local bishop opened a canonical investigation of the event in November 1917 to review witness accounts and assess whether the alleged private revelations from Mary were compatible with Catholic theology. The local priest conducting the investigation is particularly convinced by the concurring testimony of extraordinary solar phenomena from secular reporters, government officials, and other skeptics in attendance. Bishop Jose de Silva declared the miracle worthy of belief on 13th October 1930, permitting officially the cult of Our Lady Fatima within the Catholic Church. At a gathering 1951, told 2 million people attending that Pope Pius himself witnessed the miracle from the Vatican Gardens. The early and enduring interest in the miracle-related prophecies has had a significant impact on devotional practices of many Catholics. I've never heard of this. The crowd, Covidaria, looking towards the sun on 13th October 1917. Oh, I've never heard of this before. Believed explanations, criticism, theologians, scientists, skeptics have responded to claims that conflict with established scientific knowledge regarding the behavior of the sun. Science writer Benjamin Radford points out that the sun did not really dance in the sky. We know this because, of course, everyone on Earth is under the same sun. And if the closest dying star to us suddenly began doing celestial gymnastics, a few billion other people would have reported it. Radford wrote that psychological factors such as the power of suggestion and pareidolia can explain the reported events. According to Radford, no one suggests that those who reported seeing the miracle sun or any other miracles of Fatima elsewhere are lying, hoaxing, and said they are likely experience what they claim to, though the experience took place mostly in their minds. Well, I would offer my skepticism in that if the sun were dancing in the sky and racing towards us and then back again, the Earth would shatter under the tidal forces of such an event. Like, the earthquakes would be 11s and 12s on the scale. And so that didn't happen. Now, if you get hundreds of thousands of people staring at a bright thing in the sky and you get lots of like dots in your vision or something, I don't know what other explanation there would be for why that is. The fact we never talked about it once in astronomy class leads me to believe that mass paranoia? Mass delusion? I don't know. But Hutch, I learned something new. I never knew about this because I'm not Catholic, so no one teaches me these things. Christopher S. saw Andre 3000 in the bathroom of Phillies Yankees World Series game. Had a Yanks hat on. The Phillies fans took it easy on him. Well, he's Andre 3000. You'd just be like, all right. Yeah, I know you have a Yankees hat on, but you're Andre, so we'll let it slide. William Morgan, the United States government says they will get a handle on inflation by 2024. We entered inflation in 1965. It lasts until 1982. We have over 100 trillion unfunded liabilities and debt. This is true. Either we need to make about 10 billion more babies all of a sudden, or we're going to have to throttle back on capital expenditures everywhere. This is the silly thing about the made-up system we've created, because money's fake. It's not real. It is a fake system. And it only exists because of our belief in using it. The minute we all stop believing in it, the value plummets. So, how do we rectify our fake situation with our fake money and solve the problem? And the things that would truly solve the problem, no one will ever want to get behind. Which would be like every nation wiping out all of their debt. Just like, you know what? Debt's done. We're starting over. They're not going to do that. Because they all hold debt in other people's things. All the big institutions and banks hold bonds, and they use that to stand their wealth. And they're not going to give up anything willingly. So what we're left with is basically hurting ourselves on purpose, reducing the quality of life for everyone else so that our fake money system can get back in line with the metrics that they deem healthy. It's a very weird, very weird system that our make-believe is hurting us. If you really want to like think about it deep down. Like, it's like we're getting beaten up by our imaginary friend. It's just so dumb. And there has to be a better way. There just has to be. There obviously is a better way somewhere. Because, you know, I don't know, when we were in the cave stabbing mammoths with sticks, we didn't have to worry about inflationary responses of being able to feed the entire village. Although we didn't have the technology and know-how to like even wash our hands or be sanitary or avoid certain diseases or clean our teeth. It's just, yeah, it's in the corner of my eye. The situation is fake. The money is fake. Maybe the problem is fake too. Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Scott Lumley Houston, happy birthday. At any rate, can we talk about how amazing a career of Albert Pujols has been and how the steroid era probably obscured how unbelievably talented a baseball player he is? Albert Pujols was amazing. Albert Pujols' biggest problem, though, was not taking the home team discount and staying in St. Louis with National League pitching, and instead going to the American League, where he immediately just fell off. Griffey did the same thing. Griffey was eating up the American League, went to Cincinnati, fell off real quick. And got injured way too much over there. But Pujols would be at 800 home runs right now if he had stayed with the Cardinals, I think. But I think the problem from his perspective was there's no DH in the National League at the time. Therefore, he'd have to keep playing first base and putting his health at risk that entire time. So the idea of moving to an American League team and being able to take some days off in the field and be a DH was probably very appealing. Plus $200 million or whatever it was they're paying him. Yeah. Who's wilder in baseball than Zach Greinke? One sec. I can't remember his name at the top of my head. I gotta. Crap. What is that dude's name? Mark Fidrich? Is that who I'm thinking of? Yeah, Mark Fidrich. He was a total weirdo. Very short career. His elbow blew up. He would do weird. He would go out on the mound and like between innings would like play with the dirt on the mound and build like little sandcastles and weird things. But he was super dominant for like 2 years. Died early. Died at 54. Goodness. Yeah, they played for the Tigers. Non-roster invitee of the 1976 spring training. Make his debut in April. Pitched like a monster for like 2 years, and then his elbow fell apart. Yeah, tore the college's knee in the outfield spring training 1977. But yeah, he was a weirdo. Let's see if we can find some Mark Fidrich video. Let's put weird in there because he was a weirdo. The bird. Show me videos. Do you have videos of him being weird on the mound? Only 5-minute videos. Well, look him up. He's probably the weirdest dude to ever play the game. Arm totally fell apart. Or, what's that dude's name? The one that, like, would leave the game to go follow fire trucks and... Rube. Baseball player. Rube Waddell. That dude was a weirdo. Absolute just nutso. Just read his Wikipedia page. Rube Waddell's Wikipedia page is just the weirdest. Okay. He once left the middle of the game to go fishing. He had a long-standing fascination with fire trucks and ran off the field to chase them during games on multiple occasions. He would disappear for months at a time during the off-season. It was not known where he went until he discovered he was wrestling alligators in a circus. He was easily distracted by opposing fans that held up puppies, which caused him to run over to play with them, and shiny objects, which seemed to put him in a trance. An alcoholic for much of his short life, the Southpaw reportedly spent his entire first signing bonus on a drinking binge. Sporting News dubbing him the Southpaw. Eccentric behavior led to constant battles with managers and scuffles with bad-tempered teammates. Waddell's first professional contract for $500 with Louisville, where he pitched 2 league games and a couple of exhibitions with the team. At the end of the 1897 season, when the season ended, he was loaned to the Detroit Tigers, the Western League, to gain professional experience. After defaulting on rent and being fined by owner George Vanderbeck, he left Detroit in late May to pitch in Canada before eventually returning to Homestead, Pennsylvania to pitch semi-pro ball there. However, Pittsburgh retained the rights, and he was lent to Columbus of the Western League in 1889. Continued with them. Where's the weird shit about him being in plays? And where is he? Shoot. Okay. So, according to baseball historian Lee Allen, the American League story, Waddell began 1903 season sleeping in a firehouse in Camden, New Jersey, and ended it tending bar at a saloon in Wheeling, West Virginia. In between those events, he won 22 games for the Philadelphia Athletics, toured the nation in a melodrama called The Stain of Guilt, courted, married, and became separated from May Wynn Skinner of Lynn, Massachusetts, saved a woman from drowning, accidentally shot a friend through the hand, and was bitten by a lion. His performance in The Stain of Guilt was notable, and his co-stars, who had realized he was incapable of memorizing lines, allowed him to improvise his lines for every show. The play was critically acclaimed, and much discussed for a scene in which Waddell lifted actor playing the villain and threw him across the stage with ease. Waddell used his newfound stardom as an actor to negotiate a higher wage for his baseball career. Rube Waddell was a weirdo. Probably, definitely on the spectrum. Yeah. Yeah, he was the story about him being bitten in the hand of a lion was like he didn't show up for a game and they found him in the hospital and like, what happened? I got bit by a lion, and there's like no other explanation for it. Not my name, Houston. My brother wanted to invest in Japanese yen because they're opening up after COVID. Can you please explain why that's a bad idea? No one wants Japanese bonds. So, Japan's going to have to raise interest rates like crazy. And the fact that everyone is already converting yen into dollars might mean that Japan may have to print more, which will cause the yen to get hit harder. I'm sure that the yen and all the other foreign currencies will recover someday, but it might not be for a little while. I think there's still bad news coming for all these economies around the world. But that's I just wouldn't. I would just stay away from trading currency right now in general. It's doesn't seem to be a very stable way to go. And the gains you would get probably aren't that big in the first place. It seems like a lot of headache for what could be pretty small gains compared to like dealing with a volatile stock while the market is getting hit, or investing in an inverse fund or puts on the SPY or QQQ or whatever. Like those are much bigger guarantees that'll have much bigger payoffs in the end than to bother with like currency arbitrage and playing that way. Sadboy Incorporated. Houston, I think AMC is overvalued and that it's being used to hold back GME from its true potential. Thoughts on how AMC could cancel the squeeze by providing liquidity through dilution? Also, happy birthday. I mean, we know AMC needs cash. They need about $5 billion to take care of the bad debts they have. They have, I don't know, $1.5 billion in cash on hand right now. But they managed to renegotiate their debts so that a lot of them aren't due until like 2027, so they have time. But if they wanted to be a healthy company with a longer lifespan, they're going to have to take care of the huge debt to earnings that they have right now. And the only way they can do that is through dilution. Now, if they jump the gun and dilute too early, then they kill not only the retail investors' investment, but they also kill the squeeze potential. But they will have raised hopefully enough money to take care of their debts. If they wait and they dilute the way GameStop did, then they can dilute and not really affect things much. GameStop waited until the share prices were hundreds of dollars a share, and they trickled a little bit here, a little bit there over the course of months. And they're like, hey, we sold all the shares we need to do. We're cool. We got cash on hand. What AMC has done, and repeatedly in the past, is the share price is about to explode. They dump hundreds of millions or tens of millions of shares all at once and kills whatever rally there is. And they got to wait for it to build back up again. And if they had just waited and sold slowly, like if they had not dumped the 11 million shares to Mudrick in June of last year, and instead said, hey, we're going to sell some shares. We're going to direct offer them in the market slowly over a long period of time. Then when the stock price was hitting $77, they could sell a little here, sell a little there, sell a little here, sell a little there, and they would have made 3 times as much money. And their stock price wouldn't have fallen as drastically as it did. So that's the biggest problem is that Adam Aaron sees the zeros line up. He's like, let's sell it all. And then they dump it all, and then it kills whatever rally or hopes and dreams that the retail has. And the retail at this point is sort of like an abused girlfriend, in that they're like, he didn't really mean it. He just gets angry sometimes. And you know, he's promised he won't do it again. And so they're like in this cycle of abuse. And that's why, like, I have hope that Adam Aaron isn't going to dilute before T90 on Ape. But the logical side of my brain says, yeah, he will. That's what he does. So, if he can somehow manage to find a buyer for all 450 million shares at $10, then Ape might be done as a squeeze. But AMC will have paid off all their debt. And that makes it a whole new ball game. I don't know what they do with trying to rectify the preferred shares after that, when they have like 1 billion of them floating around, and you're gonna have to like eventually have a shareholders vote to recombine them or whatever. But yeah, it's the whole reason why I haven't bought any more AMC since June of last year. Was that whole reason? Is that I just don't trust his ability to hold off and wait for gratification. He seems to be like, let's dump now. Let's make some money. Let's dump now. And that's what he seems to do. Okay. David Morgan Houston, what if he diluted but charged a premium as hinted at in the 8K? Can you check the 8K because something was supposed to be done around the 19th or 20th area if I read it correctly? If I can find the 8K again. Is it this one? This filing of, nope, that's from January last year. August, here we go. Preferred equity Ape. Let's see here. Okay, do some skimming. AMC for equity units can convert common stock, but only if AMC board proposes and then investors approve. AMC for equity unit cash dividend. Equity units have voting rights. Preferred equity units if you are issuing preferred equity units. Blah blah blah. AMC can issue the 483.2 million AMC preferred equity units in the future without shareholder approval. Shareholders of AMC already approved the creation of AMC preferred equity back in 2013 and delegated its future issuance solely to the AMC board of directors. Authorized but unused AMC preferred equity units can be used in the future in the same way that AMC can issue authorized and unissued shares of common stock. Normal regulations requirements with respect to share issuance apply, including potential filings with the SEC and public disclosure, along with circumstances under which shareholder approval is not required. AMC preferred equity units provide AMC with currency that can be used in the future to further strengthen the balance sheet, including by reducing debt and liabilities. AMC preferred equity also give AMC the ability to invest in shareholder value enhancing and transformative M&A investment opportunities. In addition, the flexibility provided by the company's AMC preferred equity units immensely lessens any survival risk as we continue to work our way through the impact of COVID-19 pandemic towards recovery and transformation. When will AMC issue or sell remaining AMC preferred equity units? If and when the AMC board of directors chooses to issue or sell a portion of authorized but unissued AMC preferred equity units, AMC will file the required documentation with the SEC and make appropriate public disclosures. The mere existence of authorized but unused AMC preferred equity units does not imply anything about the amount or timing of future issuances sales. Okay. Not seeing anything about these. That's one I'll receive. Was there another updated 8K from this? So that was August. October 14th. Okay. What's this? Investors Hangout. Form 8K. October 14th. All right. So this is recent. This is last week. And this is small and I can't read it. Go away, thing. Notice payment. Oh, it's the Odeon loan. Never mind. This has nothing to do with Ape. That's the refinancing of the loan. No. If you guys find it, send it. I'll look at it then. But if you guys want me reading PDF files online forever trying to find something. No, I have no idea if there's anything about the 19th or 20th in there. Whew. Blanket fall, buddy. There you go. Okay. Idiot Red Mustang GT. Houston, do you think Icahn is partnering with Brian Cohen? I mean, it'd be awesome if they are. Wonder Twins unite. That'd be fantastic. And if there was some sort of announcement about that, holy smokes, that would be a pew of the stock. Because that's what happens. I think the Carl Icahn pick is with RC as short shivering in the boots sent a clear message. Topical TV, Houston, why does dirt road washboard? What is the erosion mechanic behind the consistent pattern? Best I can tell is because tires dig, like when they spin in a loose road, they dig and they push material behind them, is that it eventually starts making little piles of dirt get pushed into further piles, which then get run over and hard packed. And so you're sort of scooping out chunks of dirt along the way and digging it that way. I think that's the best way I can explain it. I bet there's probably some physics video. Why does a road washboard? Okay, what kind of washboarding? The 4 primary causes of washboarding: driving habits, lack of moisture, poor gravel quality, and lack of crown on the road surface. Okay, here we're about to learn something. I gave my hypothesis, and let's see if I was right. Okay. Vehicle speed greatly contributes to washboarding, according to Stephen Morris, lead physicist for the University of Toronto. The hopping of the wheel over the ripples turns out to be mathematically similar to skipping stone over water. He explains that just as a skipping stone needs to go above specific speed in order to develop enough force to be thrown off the surface of the water, vehicles need to be moving at a certain speed in order for washboarding to occur. Places where drivers routinely accelerate rapidly or brake hard are also particularly prone to corrugation. So one way to reduce washboarding is simply lower the speed limit. Protracted periods of dry weather can also lead to washboarding, as arid conditions cause the crust that forms the surface of gravel roads to loosen and become more susceptible to reshaping by passing tires. So that's the tire hypothesis I had. Yes! Glad I was able to do that. Conversely, if a gravel road doesn't have the appropriate crowned road profile, water won't be able to drain properly. Water will then accumulate in depressions and ripples in the road, which will in turn be deepened by passing traffic. Okay, so the crowning of a road is you want a road that has a peak in the middle so that the water runs off to the sides. There you go. The highway, whatever, explains that high quality gravel can help mitigate or forestall some of these common washboard issues. Selecting gravel made up of the right mixture of stone, sand, and fines with the necessary binding characteristic will resist corrugation and go a long way towards reducing washboarding in the process. All right, so there you go. The problem is, on a washboarded road, the faster you go, the less the washboard affects your suspension and makes you jostle around. So encourage people to go slower is harder because in Mythbusters, they prove the faster you go over washboard, the less it affects you because your tires essentially just skipping over all the bumpy parts. So damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess. Daphne Hill Houston can give us a bit refresher on Carl Icahn, who is his significance and why people are excited to see Ryan Cohen taking pictures with him. What could it mean? Carl Icahn was a classic corporate raider. He essentially liked buying companies that were on the way down, turning them around, and then selling them for a profit. Let's see if we get a list of the big companies here. Carl Icahn investments of the past. Okay. I think he did like what? Chrysler or something back in the day. Maybe it was GM. Okay. 61 2005. So whoops. Let's get to the Wikipedia here. Began a stockbroker with Dreyfus Corporation. 68, invested his own money. Bought a seat in the New York Stock Exchange. 1978's first takeover attempt, he took a controlling stake in Tappan and forced the sale of the company to Electrolux, making a profit of $2.7 million, or doubling his investment. In 79, he acquired Bayswater Realty and Capital Corporation. 83, acquired ACF Industries. 85, sold those shares to Phillips Petroleum, making a $50 million profit. 85, by pooling his funds with investor funds and borrowed funds from banks, Icahn acquired 50% of TWA, Transworld Airlines, and he completely acquired the company in a leveraged buyout in 88. So leveraged buyouts are when you basically say, it's like a mortgage. Like, I want to buy this house. The bank says, you don't have anything to buy this house. Well, if you let me buy the house, you can use the house as collateral. So Icahn, when he went to buy TWA in total, he said, I don't own TWA, but if you give me enough money to buy TWA will be the collateral. So that's the leveraged buyout. So it completely acquired them in 88. Icahn systematically sold TWA's assets to repay the money he owed. So he took it apart. He did asset stripping. That's the corporate raider part. That's the stuff that the bad guys do a lot of times. In 91, he sold TWA's London routes to American Airlines for $445 million. Icahn made $469 million profit and left TWA with $540 million in debt. He basically did the whole evil corporate raider thing that Bain Capital does. He phoned lowestfare.com to sell TWA tickets and acquired portions of Global Leisure Travel from Rami El Batawari. In 86, Icahn launched an unsuccessful $8 billion hostile takeover of U.S. Steel. For 89% of U.S. Steel, the bid was dropped in 87. 91, he sold a stake in the company for $1 billion, making a $200 million profit. In 89, largest share to date in the New York Stock Exchange, Icahn sold a stake of Texaco for $2 billion, making a profit of $700 million. In 1990, he offered to acquire Pan Am for $375 million. 94, took a 6.6% interest in Western Company of North America, as it was in the process of being acquired by BJ Services. February 97, Icahn sold 7.3% RJ Nabisco for $125 million profit. In June 97, Icahn took control of Marvel Comics in rivalry with Ronald Perlman. In 98, he again bid for Pan Am, offering $43 million this time, so Pan Am should have taken his offer 8 years earlier. In December 98, Icahn led an investor group to acquire a 5% stake in Nabisco and pressured the company management to separate its tobacco and food units. In 2001, Icahn's Riverdale lent Geister Media $100 million, received options to purchase 5.5 million shares of the company, and at the average price of $509. In 2004, Icahn began raising $3 billion to form Icahn Partners, a hedge fund. He took ownership in Blockbuster Video and Time Warner. It's a bad time to take spot in Blockbuster Video. In 2004, Mylan announced a $4 billion stock deal to acquire King Pharmaceuticals. Icahn purchased a large block of stock, threatened a proxy fight, urging shareholders to vote against acquisition. In February 2005, Maryland gave up his efforts to acquire that. Where was I thought he had a piece of one of the big auto companies. Didn't he? Goodness gracious. So he was a corporate raider. He would turn a lot of these companies around, and then a lot of them he'd also just sell off into pieces and leave completely debt ridden, which is what the evil guys are trying to do with GameStop. So interesting dichotomy there. Yeah. Okay. I thought I might be wrong about that. He had some losses in there. He had the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. That's a big loss. $350 million down the drain. But I mean, it's kind of incredible. He took, what did he start with? He took $150,000 of own money and $400,000 from his uncle. So his uncle was pretty rich, to get a seat in the New York Stock Exchange and form Icahn and Company, which focused on risk arbitrage and options trading. And then with that essentially $550,000, he's built something that within 20 years, he was making $200 million, $700 million, $2 billion on various sales after that. That's a pretty darn good return on investment in the end. Even when he had losses like the Trump Taj Mahal casino and things. Yeah. So he likes to take companies that are on the way down. And apparently Herbalife is something that he sees as going to be a giant squeeze. But Herbalife is a Ponzi scheme, and I just don't trust Ponzi schemes in general. So, or not Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme. That's the word I'm looking for, a pyramid scheme. Okay. G-Font, hey bud, the banks aren't using reverse repo currently. It's just the money market funds. I thought all the banks were the only ones allowed to use it. Expectation 2 is members. Special interest form, expression interest form. Current lists. There we go. That's what I want. Okay. Banks, Allied Bank, Bank of America, Barclays, Citibank, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, JP Morgan, Mizuho, Morgan Stanley, Natixis, Royal Bank of Canada, Sumitomo, Northern Trust, Wells Fargo. Government sponsors enterprises. Agribank, CoBank, Federal Agriculture, blah, 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 home loan banks, all those guys. And then we got investment managers who are, the investment managers were added. Alliance Bernstein, Allspring Funds, BlackRock, BNY Mellon, Capital Research, Kavanaugh Hill, Charles Schwab, Columbia Management, Deutsche Investment, Dimensional, Federated Investment, Fidelity, Franklin, Goldman Sachs, HSBC. So a lot of the banks and their investment funds are listed here. Northern Trust, another one, Pacific Life, T. Rowe Price, UBS, Vanguard, Wilmington Funds. It's all big boys. There is not a single small player in any of this. So it is all really, really, really big investment funds or big banks. You aren't going to see like, your local bank listed here at all. It's all the too big to fail groups that are playing in this. Interesting. Okay, how far behind I'm way far behind now. Okay. William Morgan, China is still refusing to release GDP data. Didn't they say that they aren't going to release for like a year? They're just going to go, no, we're not going to release it at all. Because they don't want everyone to see that their economy is shrinking for the first time since opening up to the West. And it's shrinking a lot. Bum, 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 bum. Christopher S. RC's 3 people, Marjorie Brown, Shelley Lombard, and Ben Rosenzweig, still on the board of Bed Bath & Beyond. Well, I guess I got them in there, but he doesn't have any shares, so how's he going to nudge and wink wink his way to get the Bed Bath & Beyond board to do the right thing on stuff? Christopher S., I've seen the VIX rocket up and the UVXY not do a thing. Exactly. You're a shitty inverse fund if you weren't inverting anything. Like, what the heck? Boom. Billionaire, bio-billionaire Will. All right, this looks like Midwest, maybe? Maybe a little south of that. Let's go somewhere. Let's go somewhere interesting. Bio-billionaire Bill. Does that mean you have lots of bios? Go north, young man. Smack dab in the Midwest. We are at a parking lot. Fort Knox. We're in Kentucky. So there's Fort Knox. Hey, look at that. They have looks like a natural physical fitness center. You got a little track for sprinting and your track for running. All right, so we're at Fort Knox. We're in a parking lot at Fort Knox. It's a parking lot for military vehicles. I have no idea where are the vaults at Fort Knox. Got some sports complexes, got fitness centers, you got recruiting and detention college, Samuel Adams Brew House, so they got a beer brewery there. Shop at gas station, Holiday Inn Express, got a reverse track here, exactly the same as the track up here, but the opposite direction. Apps Fort Knox. There's the bullion depository. There it is. So apparently it's all like underground here. There's however many millions of pounds of gold inside of this place. It's pretty interesting design. I mean, they do have, well, there must be construction going on because this looks like construction equipment for sure. But that's where the gold is. The gold's in there. One way in. U.S. Mint Police. Fort Knox Visitor Center. So you can go visit Fort Knox. And I guess they let you go in here and they talk about everything that's in here. Because I can't imagine them letting anyone in here. It's a very small parking lot. I mean, look how small that parking lot is for this. You got 1, 2, 3, probably 3 company cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Maybe 17 employees on? That seems weird. There must be some sort of bus that drops off people elsewhere. You get a great view of the repository from this cloverleaf on and off ramp there. And from the golf course. You can hit a golf ball, hit Fort Knox. That would be awesome. If I am teeing off, I am definitely turning around, smacking one to the field this way, just to see what happens. Hey, anybody in Kentucky who's going to play the Fort Knox golf course, just as an experiment, turn around and hit one into the actual Fort Knox itself. I just want to know what happens when you do that. Also, can you imagine being the guy who has to mow this lawn? I mean, look at the patterns he's got to make. That is a lot of mowing to be done regularly there. It's a lovely day. I don't see anybody on this course. Why is nobody out there? Bluegrass meets. Yeah, I don't see anybody out here today. Huh. All right. Hit a golf ball in the Fort Knox for me, please. Project Sun, familiar with a WOW signal, was strong narrowband radio signal detected on August 15th, 1977 by Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope in the United States and used to support the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The signal appeared to come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius and bore the expected hallmarks of extraterrestrial origin. I have not heard about that one either. The closest recently that we had is we had a repeating pulsing signal that was picked up by a Chinese telescope and was eventually confirmed like 6 months later by, I think it was an Australian one. But we still don't know, haven't deciphered anything out of it yet, if it is an extraterrestrial thing or something weird that, maybe some stars pulsating or whatever. But I don't know enough about WOW itself to give any opinions on that project. Brandon T. Houston, I think for once may come out ahead. At the peak of the housing market, my wife and I sold and downsized our home, sitting on profit to invest after crash, sitting on XXX GME, fingers crossed. That is the way to do it. Good job. Good job. Zachary Egan, Pickle Man just posted highest Dix percent ever. Is that an indicator of OPEX? Dix percent? Talking about Girk published something. What? I'll see exactly what your reference is. David, cheers from Peru. What do you think about GTII? I mean, if you got into it at like 40 cents and you sold at $5-6, probably awesome. If you got in call options and you got into cajillions of call options, one's at 40 cents, you probably made a fortune. I have the feeling that GTII may have run its course, and that might be where it is now. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that it's kind of done what's going to do. Zachary Egan, love you, Houston. Should we buy cars tomorrow morning? And what's your thought on great call? Oh, calls. I think you want calls tomorrow morning. I'm probably going to buy some calls tomorrow for GameStop. Get what I can for them. Probably something that's a few dollars above where the current strike is. Something in like the $70, $80 range. Like for price, not for the strike. The strike probably $30, $35, somewhere in there. Get as many of them as I can, and then hope that we see something go to $40, $45 in the end. Collect that, and put that into the stock I can't talk about. Meow meow. I delivered food to a really old ex-Nazi in the 90s. She was ranting about the Jews and telling me how great Der Fuhrer was. So creepy. I can imagine. Did you report about her? Because she may have been someone escaping prosecution. So, those guys some of them are still holding on. I think most of them are dead at this point. Oh, it's all right. Cat's making noise. Here. Come here. Come on. Come say hi. Come on. You can come inside. There you go. All right. Go say hi, kitty. Yes. Yes, don't step on the keyboard. Get the hell out of my way. I'm trying to sit. Okay, there's the little telescope tail. There he is, sitting right in front of the chat. Good job. All right. Prontal, hopefully you haven't seen this one before. We're at 38 north, 93 west. That's got to be somewhere. 38, 93. Where is that, like Kansas or Colorado? Airport. Ooh. In Missouri? Is that why we got a B-2 bomber here? Whoa, check that out. So B2, off the runway, fire trucks, got all these hoses and things laid out. Whoa! Oh, you guys can't see a single thing I'm doing. There we go. Look at that. There's a B2 off the rails, man. That's cool. I've not seen that one before. There's a lot going on here. Fire trucks. All sorts of weird boxes have been laid out. They're going to figure out how to drag this thing off. They've had lots of cars, obviously, driving around the grass here, trying to figure out how to move this thing somewhere. That's crazy. It must be in Missouri, because Missouri is where the B-2s are, right? Yeah, Whitman Air Force Base. Yep, middle of Missouri. The pilots who work these things have the strangest job. Because, like, during the height of Iraq and Afghanistan, these dudes would, like, kiss their wives on the forehead, hop into their jets, fly a bombing run to Afghanistan for 15 hours, refueling several times along the way, drop their munitions, and then fly 15 hours back home, refueling several times along the way, land, give their wives a kiss on the forehead, and go to bed. The deployment didn't exist because I don't think the U.S. government wants B-2s outside the country. So they're going to keep them here and do long-range things after that. Hi, buddy. You going to hang out there? Do you see your buddy Sandy here? Sandy's with us for the day. Cute little chonker hanging out. Look at that sweet little dog. It's a black dog, just like you're a black cat. Yes. All right. Oh, there goes the reset. Okay. How much? These afternoon shows, the thing about the nighttime shows is that I can catch up almost at the end. The daytime shows, there's too many of you folks in here. I can't get to them all in time. Kitty, you're now in the way. Can you guys hear him purring? He's just a happy cat. Yes, you are. Just a happy cat. Okay. Kitty, move your head. I'm trying to move your head. Move your head. I can't read. Okay. Oh, I see the hot boys and girls made it to the show today. Excellent. Seen these guys for a while. All right, monkey butt. You're a bone chewer. You got bone chewing, you got purring, got so many distractions going on at the moment. Squamps saw a Smurf pop out of my garden once. He ate the rest of the microwave burrito and told me to burn things. That sounds like what they do. Much like you seem an hour behind. Where are we? We got like 5 minutes or so before I got to get ready and head out. All right, maybe I'll scroll down. Touch the miracle of Son is interesting. Houston, the lady that the children claim is the Virgin Mary, never introduced herself as Mary or claimed to be. Also, there was reports of silver disc descending. Okay, what they saw was space aliens. Kitty, get back over here. Come on. Over here. Follow my hand. Yeah, get out of my way. Okay. Do you guys think Liz Truss is going to make it to the end of the week? I don't think she is. I think she might have a no confidence vote coming our way in, well, by tomorrow, maybe? I mean, she really took over at a bad time, but then she didn't do anything good in the short time she had and just made things worse. And I think she might be out. All right. I'm just scrolling past so many the hot bots, trying to get us to look at the hot boys and girls. Okay. Project Son, Houston, hear about Mythbusters getting a guy out of prison on a murder charge by proving you can't start a gas explosion with a cigarette. I mean, I've seen the episode where they show that, but I didn't know they got somebody out of prison on that. That's awesome. You can start one with a cigarette starter. Ah. Okay. Oh, goodness. All right. Kitty cat. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. Eagle Mo's not true, but Batman show now. You're just... Oh, yeah. Ow. Wait, you're gonna bite me, kitty. Like, his butt is just in front of the chat constantly. Here, buddy. Buddy, come here. Come on. Come over here. Come over here. I'll just put you right there. How's that? Just get up on the thingy. Get up on the thingy. Get up there. That's where you go. Go up there. There you go. Oh. There it is. Yeah, that's how you do it, buddy. There you go. Okay, get a little cat butt for everybody's viewing pleasures. Neighbor has appraisal business the last 5 years and he's made a ton of money. With total economy collapse, does that bode well or bad for him? People are still going to need appraisals, whether they're buying, selling, the bank's going to have to hire them. So they do all right. My friend who he moved into housing inspection and was making a killing, and he's expecting to make even more money now because a lot of homes were being sold without inspections. So like the sellers would be like, "You want my house? No inspection. And give me 20% over what I'm asking." And the homes were selling that way. But now it's going to be a buyer's market, and the buyers are going to want to know exactly what they're getting. And so I think he's going to be doing gangbusters. And the appraisals are going to be needed because folks are going to want to buy a house or want to get it for the cheapest absolute price they can get. And so they're going to need those appraisals to come in super low for everybody so the houses get sold. I think that's what they're working on. All right. That's right, buddy. That's a perfect spot for you right there. Your butt's not in the way of the chat, and your butt's right there. Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Can't about knock everything down. Oh, now you're licking me. Ow, ow. Don't need to bite me. Ow, don't need to bite me. You're so weird. Are you just trying to taste me? Is that what's going on? BW brand, my grandmother had an all-black cat his size. He was behind the microwave when she started. Scary got started a heart attack, and he died a day later. What? Great Ape Knowles. I keep wanting to say Great Nups for some reason. Grape nuts. He once said, in order to anticipate our enemy with the squeeze, you need to expect MOAS to go in an unexpected way. What do you think the unexpected means of unwinding their position is? Well, the times we exploded before, we saw huge sell-offs in the crypto market. And the sell-offs in the crypto market were part of them getting rid of uncollateralized wealth that they had. So that they could sell off that didn't affect their collateral bottom line for all their margin and everything. They could raise cash and liquidity, cover positions, whatever. I'm not sure how much they have left in the way of a lot of those crypto holdings. But there's still hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars in crypto that's kind of languishing at the moment. So the canary in the coal mine is going to be sales of penny stocks, sales of crypto. they don't want to dump bonds, but they may be forced to because the cash might be worth more than the bond itself at some point. Yeah. So Chalupa is a fatty because Chalupa has asthma, and Chalupa needs to take prednisone to keep him from having asthmatic attacks all the time, which makes him have quite the large little kitty fupa, or the primordial pouch, as they call it. He's got some just incredible nurples. Kitty, do you want to show everybody your nipples? Want to show the entire world your nipples? They are something else. Look at my nipples! Nipples! Oh, you enjoyed that, didn't you? Yeah, everybody got to see your nipples. That was fantastic. But they definitely stick out. Black cats, they just stick out so well. All right, so it's 5:45. We're 2 hours in. We will see you on Friday. I don't know if it's going to be a daytime show or a nighttime show. I guess it's going to be piss and rain, so things I might want to get done on Friday I might not be able to do. So maybe it'll be a daytime show on Friday. If not, I'll see you after dark on Friday. Yeah, you guys have yourselves a great, fantastic, wonderful day. See you Friday, if not on the internet or on Twitch before then. And rock and roll? Sure. All right. Bye-bye. Nipples! Look at those nipples. Oh my goodness.